Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rob.
Welcome back to the RP Show, everybody. A sports update. The Milwaukee Bucks haven't announced yet if reigning NBA MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, I finally got it, Darren.
You killed it.
Will be ready for tonight's Game 5 against the Miami Heat. Just in time to get OG Anunoby. Broadcaster's nightmare, these NBA players. For the Eastern Conference Finals, the team said he would get plenty of treatment on an injured right ankle before a decision is made about his availability. Miami leads the series 3-1. And that was wild the other day, by the way, the overtime.
Oh, yeah.
How the Bucks won it without the Greek Freak.
Right.
So they could do it again.
And we thought Bieksa was bad.
Bieksa. Oh, I got to come back on that.
Okay.
Denis Shapovalov. Did I say that
Nailed
right?
it.
What's his nickname?
Chapo
of Richmond Hill, Ontario, hits the court today for quarterfinal action at the U.S. Open. The 21-year-old Chapo faces Spain's Pablo Carreno Busta with a spot, is that right?
Yeah.
In the
Busta.
final for Busta. I was on such a roll. Vegas Golden Knights forward Ryan Reeves returns tonight for Game 2 against the Dallas Stars after missing the opener of the Western Conference Final due to suspension. Dallas only scored once in Game 1, but it was all the Stars needed for a 1-0 win in the early edge in the series. Nothing on who's starting in goal for the Knights yet, right?
Not that I've seen, but I haven't looked.
You won't get it till warm-up, I'm sure. Lefty Jay Happ starts against his former team today when his Yankees face the Blue Jays in Buffalo for their second meeting in a 3-game set. Righty Taijuan Walker is scheduled to make his third start for Toronto since he was acquired from Seattle. The Jays beat the Yankees 12-7 last night in the opener. This sports update is for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, 7 delicious flavors. RP Show viewers get 20% off by using the promo code RP Show. Order yours at g2gbars.ca. Kent Ridley's watching from Ridley Scouting. He writes in and he says, Rod, if you don't make grapes a weekly feature, I'll never listen again. Is that how these ultimatums work? He puts in brackets. That's funny, Kent. For some people it does. K-Dog writes in and he says, Grapes was supposed to be the head coach of the Blues if they moved to Saskatoon. Wouldn't that have been something? Match made in heaven. Great job in the interview, buddy. Thank you, K-Dog. People still talking about Grapes, and I'm not shocked.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Shanks writes it. He says, I love Don Cherry. Always called it how he's seen it. A lot of respect for that man, but all the friggin' snowflakes didn't like. Well, I think about Don Cherry, and I think about all the money that he made, millions over his career. He was, as I said to Hoppy, Grapes was a brand before being a brand was a thing. He really was. The restaurants, the merchandise, the books, the videos, all set up, of course, by Hockey Night in Canada. But I think about the hate that he had to put up with. And a lot of it, he would tell you, was self-brought on.
Yep.
The comments about foreigners, the comments... And I'm just talking about hockey players and the French.
Visors.
Right. Nothing about immigrants. I think I remember the Olympics. In 98, Cherry was over there with Ron McLean. They said, Grapes, what do you think of Japan in the Olympics? He goes, one thing I don't like about Japan, too many foreigners. We don't even know if he was joking. And in today's society, you know that's just not going to fly.
No. And there's, unfortunately... There's really no excuse for that, like in today's society, right? I mean, we all know that Don is so Canadian and pure to his core and that everything comes out of his mouth with the greatest of intentions, right? We don't look at him and think of him as a bad person.
No.
Ever, right? But unfortunately, if you don't evolve, with some of with the times and, understand that there's certain things now that you can't say, then things are going to happen. And I mean, we talked about that. We understand why he's not on Coach's Corner anymore, but like just a guy that you love. Like, and we never have really met him until today, but a guy that you love, right to his core. He's so Canadian. He's as Canadian as they come.
I just got to interject with a CFL comment from Armando Moreno. He is the Mexican football reporter. And I'll tell you what, if every football team in league had a guy that works as hard as this guy, there would be no problems filling the stadiums. Can you put that up on the screen? He says the CFL is being talked about globally like never before just because of the global initiative. I think even just putting it to a pause is plain and simply so severe for the players already there and all of the ones that are preparing for a chance to play in the second best league of football worldwide. There's got to be another way. So for those that are saying pause the global initiative, and by the way, Hoppy was fully on board with the global initiative. He said Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver are world-class cities with a lot of new Canadians. Well, we all have them now, but you know what I'm talking. Far more diverse populations than the smaller centers. That's kind of where Jim was in favor of that.
Yep.
But what Hoppy's saying now is that the league is on fire. And the house is on fire. And that's the last thing they need to worry about. And I would suggest that's the case too. But we're also at a very difficult spot in society where you just give an opinion and you get canceled.
Yeah.
Right? And some of us just aren't going to stand for it. We're going to give our opinion. Like somebody was saying last week that the discussion between Benefield and I about what the CFL's missing or where it's lost its way, hopefully the CFL's listening. And I'm saying you don't understand. When the people in the league and the league office see comments like that, they think it makes them look bad. Right? Even though that we have the best interests of the league at heart, they don't see it that way. And now it's ban that guy. We want nothing to do with that guy. Give that guy the cold shoulder. And nothing gets accomplished.
Right. And we're so quick to just take criticism as, oh my God, we gotta change this because they're yelling at me on Twitter.
Yes.
Right? And that's not the right reaction, I don't believe, for the CFL. And there's a lot of noise about, you can't be spending your time worried about CFL 2.0 when your backyard is on fire. And and it's a lot of noise. And the reaction would be, okay, guys, let's pause 2.0. Let's take care of this. When really the more rational reaction, if you believe in CFL 2.0, is, hey guys, let's make sure we continue to do CFL 2.0 quietly in Canada. Let's let the world know about it. But in Canada, let's make sure everybody knows that our attention is on our backyard, right? It's a PR game too, because you want to take care of your backyard, but you don't want to forget about CFL 2.0. It's just you don't have to publicize it in your backyard, right, to the people who are upset about it. So for guys like, Armando, who are doing such a great job, that's awesome to get that perspective from outside of our country to say, hey, look, this is working. But you can't tell people in Canada that you're doing that because they don't want to hear that message.
Darren Dupont hijacking Rod's rant, which is awesome, for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, by the way. Another one. There's a stamp right over you. Ouch, did that hurt? That's like a brand.
A little bit like...
Mention Rod sent you to Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They'll take 10% off your bill, like we did. We used them. We love them. Paul Shanks is absolutely, Rod, you're so right. You can't open your mouth, and it's BS, man. From Dave Spadafora. Cancel culture. The modern-day lynch mob. I will go back to my rant where I did get a lot of blowback. And my wife's so afraid if I lose followers. Oh, you lost followers. My thing is I might lose 100 followers, but I gained 1,000. Like there's a lot of people that didn't even know who I was before that. I didn't do it for that, but it's the benefit of that. And it's the business of having a backbone. It's the whole concept of leadership, doing what you think is right. So if I question the government's direction on COVID controls, it doesn't make me a bad person either, by the way. You can't question authority. I thought that's the liberal way, by the way.
Right.
I thought silent protests. I'm just doing my protests I'm kind of taking the liberal side of things here by stomping my feet. But it's the left-wingers that want to cancel me. But anyways, I know what I'm doing. We have a vision here. And if people are writing us all the time, you need to do this, you need to do that. You shouldn't have these big microphones. You should have lapel mics. You should have this guy on the show. You should have that guy on the show. You need to talk about this. And what do I say?
I'll handle it.
I'll do the talking, you do the watching. Government should just say that to me. If they don't agree with my take. And by the way, I'm not sure the government's stomping their feet. Their supporters are and getting upset. And like I said, I had the doctor that wrote me and said, I'll never support you again. Although I kind of have a sneaking suspicion he's probably watching right now and reading everything that I say.
Right.
But the point is, I had so many people from teams write me and say, I'm so happy you said what you said, because I can't. And I know what they mean, because I've been in their shoes before. Because, if some broadcaster or some coach stood on a soapbox and went off about this is BS, why are we isolating the healthy? Why are we separating the healthy? That's never before been done in history. This is stupid, which is what I said. The team would come out, the president, or the general manager of the radio station, and say, we don't support the views of what that guy said. That's not our stance. We're all for kumbaya and hold hands. right? That's what they would do.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about that here, but the teams still do.
Right.
Right? They're just so afraid of upsetting anybody, and I literally do not care. David Oscar says, do it your way. You're killing it, fellas. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. And that's where Grapes fell in the trap. Way back in December when this happened, what did I say? There was a time 35 years ago, Don Cherry was hired by somebody at the CBC, just like Paul Drouin hiring me here, saying, let it rip, be you, just go. Right?
Yep.
And over time, those guys are all gone. And the people running CBC and Sportsnet now aren't that. They're afraid of the backlash. Right? The people that hired him, long gone.
Yeah. And you have to be willing to accept that backlash and accept a little bit of hate and the haters in order to grow and stay on your vision. You've said it before, don't take criticism from somebody you wouldn't take advice from. You wouldn't go to for advice. Right? And it's kind of the opposite true too. Don't take advice from somebody who you wouldn't, hire to run your business or something along those lines. I mean, you have the vision. And there's going to be little criticisms here and there, but stay on your vision. Be true to what you believe in. If the CFL believes in CFL 2.0, stay true to it.
Right. But they won't.
Being loud about CFL 2.0 right now might not be the best move because it's upsetting Canadians, but stay on the vision if that's your vision. Take care of your backyard and make sure you're taking care of the people of Canada, but stay on your vision.
John in Kansas City says your fourth rant on COVID sounds just as good as the first one. Thank you, John. I tweak them every time, though, to keep them fresh. The Sports Doctor next. It's the RP Show on Tuesday, September 8th. Canada's daytime sports talk show continues after this. You're watching on Game Plus TV Network and Facebook Live.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.